Hi, I'm just going to take a few minutes to review the practices that we use in kindergarten as far as reading and power words go. These are the recommendations that ARC Core, our literacy program, uses. And in kindergarten, it focuses on memorizing power words and reading a lot. Okay, power words, you can find these at the end of every book on the ARC bookshelf. I'm also going to post them again on the School Dojo story. I've sent them home, I posted them, but I'll post them again. There are 60 words in the 1G list and then another 2G list with even more words. We're going to try to get through at least the 1G list by the end of kindergarten. Fingers crossed. Okay, these are all words to be memorized, not sounded out. We don't sound things out typically in kindergarten. Those are for higher reading levels. Memorized words, sight words, power words are the way adults mostly read. You look at a word, you don't have to stop and sound it out. You know what it is. So we're getting kids to start reading quickly by memorizing a lot of words. Now, flashcards are one way to do this. It's a quick way to review throughout the day. You could 5 times during the day, you could just run through some power words. However, that gets boring after a while for a lot of kids. Some kids just hate it. My own daughter just hated power words. And not power words, she hated flashcards. So you might have other ways to practice them. We give you ideas in the videos that we put up. And I'm also going to post on the Dojo website under Power Word and Reading Review. There'll be some suggestions for other ways to practice them. But power words are these short, simple ones. The kids just need to know as fast as they can, just looking at them. And if they don't know it, then that just means they have to practice it some more. Developmentally, kids tend to learn words that they hear a lot faster than words that they're reading. They can pick up words and add to their spoken vocabulary a lot faster than they can for their reading vocabulary. It's just the way it goes for most kids. So these power words here are going to take a lot of practice. Okay, now let's talk about that reading practice. All right, so we focus on a few things in our reading program. When they're getting ready for the 1G reading level, there's a few things that we typically do all the time. Now, for instance, when it comes to a title, your kid is probably not going to be able to read the title, and it's okay to help them with a word. They look at the picture, they look at the words, they'll guess that word is cat. They'll know that what the letter C sounds like. They probably won't get snacks. It's fine, especially on titles. Go ahead and tell them what it is. That will help set the context for the rest of the book for them. Now, as they get into the pages, we suggest they use what we call a power finger. It's their pointer finger to point to each word. You can also use your arrow if you're using the ARC bookshelf to point to each word. This helps them keep from getting lost, and it also will help them focus on individual letters, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. So they should be able to do I like this. And yeah. Now, most of the books that your children read, they shouldn't be too difficult for them. They should know most of the power words in the book. If there's a new word or two on a page, that's okay. But if your child can't read most of the book independently, it's too difficult and they should choose easier books. On the other hand, if your child always chooses very easy books, encourage them to alternate these with more challenging books. The easy books probably feel familiar and comfortable, but we want to challenge them to use those new power words that they're using, that they're learning. Okay, so when they get to a word that's not a power word and that they don't know, like on this page, child can probably say, I like this. There's an unfamiliar word. So when we're practicing for 1G and beyond, there's 2 things we want them to do. First is look at the first letter of the new word. This is the P in popsicle. And what's that letter sound? Stop and think about what's that letter sound. Okay, it's going to make a P sound. Now, after they're ready, they're primed for that P sound, then they look at the picture. What's in that picture? I like this what? What's in that picture that could be a P, and finish that sentence? Well, they're going to see the cat licking the popsicle. So they'll probably say, I like this popsicle. And the next page. I like this. Ice cream is probably a new word. So they look at the first letter, I. They know what I can sound like an I. And then go back and look at the picture. What could make sense with that sentence? I like this what? Your child will probably say ice cream. It's possible to get to a word. It's not going to be a page like this, but let's just pretend. It's possible your child will get to a page where they can't figure out what the new word is. Or they may just not have the vocabulary for it. It may be a word that something they recognize, they know they've seen the thing before, but they don't have a name for it. So it's okay for you to tell them the word. I want this. If they go through, look at the picture, can't figure it out, go ahead and say flower for them. Don't ask them to sound the word out. Even if they can do it, it's going to take a long time and be very frustrating, and it's just not what we do at this point. We'll be sounding things out. They'll be sounding things out when they get into maybe first or second grade. But right now, power words are the important thing. So it's okay. If they come to a word they don't know, go ahead and tell them what it is. Have them repeat the word and have them go through the process with you. Okay, let's look at that first letter sound. Okay, what's in that picture? What are the things you see in the picture? There's a window, there's a cat. Oh, what's this thing? That's called a flower. Again, this is not an example of something they're not going to know, but it gives you an idea of how to do it. So go over the new vocabulary with them, the new word. And then say the sentence, have them say the whole sentence again. I want this flower. So the main things to remember are practice, practice, practice the power words as much as it takes for the kids to know them right off the bat. They should look at it and be able to say it. And read, read, read as much as you can. The ARC bookshelf books are really good for this because they are leveled out. There's a lot of choices and they're leveled out, so your kid has plenty of opportunity to practice reading. And when you're reading, make sure your child mostly picks books that are not too hard but not too easy. A few words they don't know is okay. A word on a page, maybe about one word a page that they have to figure out, that's okay. But if there's a whole lot of words, if they don't know most of the power words, then they should be choosing easier books. Because a lot of the power words you just can't sound out. You have to know. I mean, you can't figure out from the picture because you just have to know them. For instance here, I want this flower. If your child didn't know the word want, just by doing the w and looking at the picture, they may not be able to figure out what that word is. So if there's a book with a lot of power words that they don't know, just pick a different book. If they do come to a word that they don't know, let's try a different page. I want this. Remember, stop. Look at the first letter of the word they don't know. What sound does that make? P, p. Now look at the picture. In school, when we actually use real books instead of electronic ones, I actually give them pieces of paper to cover up the picture so they can't see it until they've gotten ready with that letter sound they're going to look for. So you can even just put a hand or put a piece of paper over the picture, have them get ready with that letter sound, then look at the picture and see what's in this picture that the cat could want that begins with P. Oh, pizza. So if you have any questions about this, like I said, I'm going to put all this information in a power word and reading review in the Class Dojo messages. And so you can read this. And if you have any questions, please ask us. We're all in this together. We're all teachers now. So good luck. Stay well and let us know if you need help with anything.